of 10 people that see your headline, 8 will read it and 2 probably will click. Which is why dialing in your headlines is one of the best ways to spend your time if you do anything with headlines, and that means articles, blogs, subject lines, any sort of thing that needs a headline. Oh, landing pages, let's not forget those. They need amazing headlines. And that's why in this video, we're gonna talk about how I combine a read checklist that I made up with formulas to build headlines fast. Now you're gonna wanna stick to the end because that's when I'm gonna reveal my very, very best top tip for creating headlines that get you all the eyeballs that you want on your stuff. Hey, I'm Monica Snyder and I'm so excited you're here. If you're new to the channel, go ahead and click subscribe if you are into email marketing, automations, and fun stuff that works while you don't so that you can make money while you sleep. You are in the right spot, and subscribe. All right, the first thing you have to understand to make a great headline is that it has one job. That's it, one job. And that job is to get your reader to stop, pay attention, and read the next thing. So that's it. That's all your headline has to do. Do not try to make it do more, okay? Smash that like button if you hear me on this and you are going to promise me that you're not going to make your headline try to do all the work of a sales page. It's just gotta get people's attention and keep them reading, okay? Now, you probably know that I think formulas and templates and things like that are amazing. And I also use them for my headlines. One of the best ones that I use is a how-to formula. Now, the how-to formula is really popular for a reason because it works. And it works well. So I'm popping up on your screen now 10 different how-to formulas. Now, the reason I'm starting with how-to is because it is the simplest and it creates some of the best headlines, and you can always remove the words how-to. Now, you'll see in each one of these, it's how to blank. And I've filled in what you should put in the blank with these little curly brackets. So each one of them has a formula and you need to fill in the blank. But what I've found with helping people write copy and do all kinds of stuff like this is that filling in that blank is actually a lot harder than it seems. So I want to fix that for you because I know that filling in the blank sounds easy, but you probably struggle with like, what does your reader want? Or if you think that they know, you might actually not get it right and it will feel weird or awkward. And that's why I have the READ checklist to help you with that. READ is an acronym and it stands for rewarding, enchanting, alluring, and directing. Now these 4 words come together to give you a little bit of a checklist to check any headline that you write, especially ones with a formula, to make sure that they are perfect for your reader. Now let's break down each one of these parts of the checklist so that you fully understand it. The first one is rewarding. And that is rewarding for the reader. Everything that you put into your headline needs to be directed at your reader, and it needs to tell them why they should care. What's in it for them? Why are they clicking through? What are they getting out of this? Now, what they're getting is up to you. It could be entertainment, it could be clarity, it could be confidence, it could be just about any one of anything that you could think of that your reader would be interested in knowing. Your job is to make sure that your reader knows exactly what reward they will get from reading this piece of information that you are creating a headline for. Or if it's a download or something like that, that they know what they're going to get out of the deal, right? Of the exchange of their time for whatever you're providing. Then you're gonna add on some things to enchant them. So this is the enchanting part of the READ acronym. And this is where you're gonna add some specifics so that they get like kind of excited about it and they wanna know like what's in it. So you're gonna make your headline more enchanting by making it more specific, especially for the specific reader. And I know I just said specific a lot, but what I mean is if you're talking to moms, can you talk to moms of preteens or moms of college students, right? Those are more specific and therefore more enchanting to those particular moms. You can also make your headlines more enchanting by adding more curiosity. So the way that you amp up curiosity is by taking the thing that you know and sort of hiding that from your reader in the headline. An example is, so say I was talking about, this READ checklist. I might say the 4-step checklist that ensures you write amazing headlines. The 4-step checklist is the READ checklist, but I'm keeping that information to myself in the headline so that you are more curious and want to click. See how that works? For the A part of the acronym, that's alluring. It has to be something that they desire so that they are going to know what they get. You want to make sure that your reader really wants what they're going to get. So you made it rewarding. It's clear what they're going to get, but you got to make sure that they want what they're going to get. That's the alluring part. The other thing that makes your headline alluring is if you can deliver something that only you can deliver on. So if you have some sort of special sauce or secret sauce, put that in your headline. Or if you worked really hard to get something, like, you've gone through 50 blog posts or you've done all this research, whatever it is that you have done to make this reader worthy, make sure that's here so that it's nice and alluring, because I want to gain all the knowledge from the stuff that you know, but I won't know unless it's alluring. And directing. D is the directing part. So if you can add something to your headline that directs them and compels them to take action immediately, that is going to make your headline so much better. One of the easiest ways to do this is by adding the word you or your in your headline. Now let's put this all together with some examples, because I just gave you formulas plus the read framework, and let's combine them using headline examples because I think that will help really clarify for you. I might come up with something with how to have energy even if your kids suck it out of you. So this could be for a product that gives you energy, maybe something that has caffeine, an energy drink, something like that, right? And the market is parents. So even if your kids suck it out of you implies that you need to be a parent to read this. Is this rewarding for the reader? Do they know what they're getting out of it? Yes, they're gonna know how to get all day energy even if they have kids. Is it enchanting? Kind of. I would say this is lacking in the enchanting department. There's nothing really special about this. I feel like I've heard this headline before. So enchanting is like, maybe. And is this headline directing? It is. It's talking about your kids. I think it's directing you to have more energy. So I would give it a pretty good score for that. So this headline wouldn't need a lot of work, but let's fix it anyway. Let's make it better. And I would change it to how to have all day energy even if your kids zap it out of you. So zap adds some enchantment because it's just a more fun power word. And all day adds some enchantment because it is more specific than just a general have energy. Let's use the formula how to, what the reader wants, without thing that they don't want or thing that they don't like. So how to lose weight without losing muscle mass. So here we're gonna be talking to somebody that wants to lose weight but keep their muscle mass. A lot of weightlifters, CrossFitters, these kinds of people would like a headline like this. And while it's okay, does it pass the read checklist? Is it rewarding? I think it's pretty rewarding. I wouldn't necessarily say it's not. The reader is clear on what they're gonna get out of this headline. Is it enchanting? Not really. It's kind of meh. So it's scoring 0 on that enchantment factor. Is it alluring? Is it delivering some cool promise? Is it doing something that like really makes me want to read it? Not really. It sounded kind of bland. Again, just kind of boring, right? And is it directing? Is it directing them towards action? I would say kind of, but not really. We would want to read this if you're interested in this topic, but I wouldn't say it's very directing. I would change this up to something that's really specific to me and add that allure of how I did it and add a story. It's one way to add allure. So I would say something like, how I lost 10 pounds in 1 month while keeping my muscle mass. So there it makes it more alluring because it's a personal story. I've added numbers to add that enchantment, and I've made it a little bit more direct because stories are direct. We tell stories all the time and we want to know the outcome of the story. It also has a little bit of curiosity because I want to know how you did it. Anytime you can start a story, it's a good idea to start that headline like that because stories are a natural way that we want to connect with people and learn more. So it is always a good idea to use a headline that has a story. And the last example is how to what the reader wants in X simple steps. This one is pretty formulaic, so you can spice it up and make it your own really well with the read checklist. Let's say we had a headline that was how to declutter your house in 3 simple steps. That's pretty good on the read checklist, but we can make it more enticing and alluring and direct by just adding a few words and switching it up a little. So if we changed it up to how to declutter your closet today in 3 simple 10-minute steps, see how much more enticing and alluring that is? Because the closet is more specific than the house. I've added numbers and specifics on how much time it would take, and I've also given a little bit of urgency, which adds to that directing. So this is how you take a formula and apply the read checklist and turn them into great headlines fast. Because formulas are great, but they miss those key components that make headlines really special and stand out. Now I just want to add a few extra tips for making your headlines really great. The first one is remove any words that are not needed, and that may include the words how to. So go through and check for any words like that, just, how to. Words like that can leave your headline without any negative impact. Tip number 2 is to keep it at a 5th grade vocabulary. Yes, that's right. The simpler words, the better. Don't be using these crazy ways to explain things that make people think. The only thing you want them to think about is how fast they can click on your headline. And while you don't want to use big words, you do want to use interesting adjectives and adverbs. So these are words that enhance and allure your readers to click and read. Always, honestly, immediately, things like that that are really common, you want to add those. Use the words you or your in your headline. Now, I mentioned it before, but it is really important, so I wanted to pick it up again because that connects your reader to you and it makes them feel more like it's for them and they'll click through and read more. Power words will also spice up your headline. Things like funny or fun or laugh or things like that, which bring an emotion that's really going to help. So power words and emotion words definitely increase the chances of your headline getting clicked. Tip number 6 is to use odd numbers, not even numbers. Our brain does something different with odd numbers and they make things more readable, so choose an odd number. And last but not least is use alliteration. Things like simple steps is really great because we just love alliteration as humans. I'm not sure why. I love it. I use it all the time. But alliteration just helps us connect the dots faster and makes our brains think less. So use it when you can. Now, before I give you my number 1 best tip, I am going to ask you to put a headline in the comments. I will check it out and give you feedback on it so that you can make your headline even better and more clickable. And now for the number 1 tip for writing better headlines, it is to write at least 30 headlines. Oh, don't hate me for saying it. Here's why. Tim Herson wrote a book called Think Better. And in it, he found the rule that is the third. And basically what it means is that when you do anything creative, content-wise, headlines, that the first set or the first third of things that you write are gonna be the obvious. They'll be typical, they won't be that exciting, they'll be meh. So that's the formula. And why we use formulas, because we're getting that stuff out of our head in the formulas. In your second third, your momentum's gonna pick up and things are gonna get better. You're gonna start writing better, you're gonna get more creative, and it's gonna be better. But that third, that is where the innovation and the uniqueness really comes out, which is why I want you to write at least 30 headlines. Because the first 10 are gonna be meh, the second 10 are gonna be good, and then your last 10, that's where you're gonna find your gold. This is especially true for a really important piece of content, maybe your landing page headline, your Facebook ads headline. You can also take those last 10 that you wrote and test them using ads or anywhere you get traffic. Just see what gets more clicks for those really, really important headlines, you know, like maybe a book title, because that is another form of headline. Now, your headlines are normally accompanied by bullet points, so go ahead and watch this next video on writing seductive bullet points so that your headline and bullet points can work together to bring you more conversions.